that's true. She got eaten, so we have that one on that side.
I said
Little Red Riding Hood talked to a stranger and you didn't.
That's true. I did not talk to any strangers.
and no foxes can you talk.
Yeah. Ooh, that's a good point. So foxes can't talk, can they? Or wolves, or whatever that one was. So was that story realistic?
That's a real coyote. One for you.
Was that story realistic? Was it real?
No, it's fiction.
No. So what is it? What do we call those? What
Fiction.
Fiction. Good
If it
job.
was
So
real,
that's
it would be
fiction.
non-fiction. And yours is too, so non-fiction.
So does anyone know what we call stories like that? Like Little Red Riding Hood and Hansel and Gretel? Fairy tales. So fairy tales. What's something that's different about fairy tales than other stories? How do we know it's a fairy tale?
I have a big book because it has Once Upon a Time.
Once upon a time. So how they all start with once upon a time. That is very true. What's another thing that's different? Tyler?
I was going to ask you something.
Oh, what did you ask?
I was going to ask you about the wolf sneaked in Grandma's house and gobbled her up and put on her clothes so Little Red Riding Hood would think it's her.
Yeah.
Wait,
Do wolves do that?
No.
No, they don't do that.
So
So,
wolves might do.
so with fairy tales, they're not realistic, are they?
No.
Because Jack and the Beanstalk, does anyone know that story?
Yes.
That doesn't really happen, does it?
No.
So fairy tales aren't really realistic, are they? But they all have a moral, don't they?
Yeah.
They all have a lesson. So that's interesting. That's very interesting. Let's keep that in mind.
I got one.
The end, yeah, they do end with the end.
Wolves don't wear clothes.
Yeah, wolves don't wear clothes.
Yeah.
That would be so weird.
They are cats. That's why I know all of the fairy tales. I have a big book. It has all of the
All of the fairy tales in it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's at my home. I still have it.
So we could say mine was realistic, right? My story actually happened.
Yeah.
All right. So
just
real.
say, naturally, you should say non-fiction.
Basically another word for that. So real. And then Brian, what's up? Did you forget what you were going to say? Okay. No? Yeah, so she got eaten and I didn't. So they both had, what did they both have again? What was the main thing that they both had? Lessons. Good job. So they both had a moral, correct?
Correct.
And was it kind of the same moral?
No.
No? What was the moral for Little Red Riding Hood?
She got lost.
She got lost. So
And
not to talk to strangers. So she trailed off the path, didn't she, to get those flowers?
Yeah.
So she kind of
Wait, she got flower, but you didn't get flower.
That's true. I didn't get flowers, but I did get lost, didn't I?
Yeah.
So they kind of have a similar
You went to a
moral,
bathroom.
right?
Yeah, I went to the
You were inside and they were outside.
That's true. I was inside and they're outside. So they
Look,
kind of
I
have the same.
had two lessons, but you had one.
Exactly. So they can have more than one lesson, can't they?
But one of them
I knew a
can't be the
scary
same.
lesson.
And then can two stories have the same lesson?
Maybe.
Yes.
Yeah. And then can they have different lessons?
She had yes.
Yes. Okay. Well,
But you
today.
had a mom.
Yeah, that's true. And so today, I'm going to have you guys read your own. So today, we are going to read The Hare and the Tortoise. Has anyone ever heard of that? The tortoise and the hare?
Wolves can't open doorknobs.
That's very true.
Yeah,
So
but they have
another reason why it's a
And
fairy
never
tale.
go into a
So
bed.
today we're
can't
going to
stand
read
up.
The Tortoise and the Hare. All right?
They can't stand up.
I know. And so we're going to read, and I have total faith in you guys because this is a very hard passage. But you guys are so smart that I know you're going to get it. But just in case you don't get some of the words, I'm going to have a word bank up here. So I have underlined some of the words that I might think that are a little hard. So I'm going to have them up here with the definition. And you're going to be working in pairs. So I'm going to have them up here with the definition. word you don't know, look up here first to see if it has a definition up here, and if you don't know it still. All right, so we're going to read the story together just to let everybody, understand it a little bit better. So a hare one day made himself merry. What does it say merry means? Happy. So he made himself happy over the slow pace of a turtle. So what does that mean? He's making fun of the turtle, wasn't he? He's laughing at him, made himself happy when the turtle was slow. And vainly boasting, which means, making fun of him, showing off, exactly, of his own great speed of running. The tortoise smiled at the hare and replied, "Let us try a race. We shall run from here to the pond, and the fox out yonder shall be their judge." So what does that mean? The fox is going to tell them
Who won?
exactly.
First place.
The hare agreed, and away they started together. True to his boasting, the hare was out of sight in a moment. What does that mean?
He wasn't seen in a couple of seconds.
He wasn't seen in a couple seconds. So that means the hare's pretty fast, doesn't it? Yeah, if they just started the race and all of a sudden he's out of sight. It's pretty fast. So the tortoise jogged along with a slow, steady pace, straight towards the end of the course. Full of sport, which means he was kind of full of himself, right? The hare first outran the tortoise, but then intentionally fell behind, chuckling at the tortoise all the while. So what does intentionally mean?
On purpose.
On purpose. So he did it on purpose. Why would he fall behind on purpose and laugh at the turtle?
So he could take a rest and he could win.
Well, so he fell behind on purpose and he was kind of like laughing at the turtle, making fun of him.
Yep, saying like, you're so slow, you don't have much energy.
Exactly.
Why are you not resting?
Yeah, so he was making fun of him. He was making fun of him because he was slow. And they're in a race. So.
Turtle supposed to be slow.
Exactly. So having come nearly to the goal, the hare began to nibble on some young plants. What does nibble mean? Eat. So he began to eat some young plants. After a while, he laid down for a nap. So would you lay down for a nap in a race?
No.
That was Scarlett saying.
Yeah, why would he lay down in the middle of a race?
Because he thought the turtle was so slow. He thought, well, it's going to take a while to catch up, so I might as well just take a rest.
Exactly. So he knew that he's fast. He's a hare. He's a rabbit. So he thought, I'll just lay down, and this turtle I'll see him when he comes by. So he said if he should go by, I can easily enough catch up. So this rabbit, what does he think of himself?
I'm so glad.
He's so smart.
Is so bad. I'll win. Drop out of the tortoise.
Exactly. So he's kind of full of himself. So when the hare awoke, the tortoise was not in sight. Running as fast as he could, the hare found the fox congratulating the turtle at the finish line. What happened?
The
The turtle won.
You can lose if you take too long of a rest during the race because you might go, oops, I forgot I was in a race. I gotta catch up.
He was so
But
full of
maybe
himself that he
your
forgot he was in
opponent
a race.
Probably already at the finish line. So
Exactly.
you gotta give up already because if your opponent's at the finish line, the race is over.
Then you gotta give up. So I want you guys to talk in your partner groups and discuss, now that we've heard the story and we really understand it, what do you think the lesson of the story is? So turn to your partner and talk to them about what you think the lesson of the story is.
The lesson is not to give up. So
You can talk to your
never
partner.
go to bed.
Blake,
Blake,
Brandon,
Leah.
join Blake and Kalia.
If you're I forget that he's going to race when we wake up. Or maybe I'll remember it. And then
Alright, let's come back together and can someone raise their hand and tell me what you were talking about?
So, I don't take a rest in the middle of a race, not to laugh at other people.
So, not to take a rest in the middle of, not to make a fool of yourself. So why did he take a nap?
because he thought the turtle